still a little, my voice is still a little bit hoarse. Hey, good morning, everybody in the YouTube world, on my YouTube channel. And I'm just talking to my Facebook audience real quick. So again, if you've been watching me on YouTube, every morning, Monday through Friday, I've been doing these SAT Khan Academy walkthroughs. Sorry, my voice is still a little crazy. It's all good. Anyways, so here's the deal. I'm going to be walking through these problems. Now, you can listen to me as I go through real actual test problems from Khan Academy Live. Like, I'm seeing them for the first time. You can watch me do this on Facebook Live and just kind of hear the explanations. But if you want to actually see the problems and see me draw them out and so on and so forth, then I recommend going to my YouTube channel, the Scalar Learning YouTube channel, and watch the live stream there. Then you can see the screen share and all that good stuff. So I'm streaming both ways simultaneously. And without further ado, let's begin. All right, so here on my YouTube stream, we're going to go to screen share. So you can now see what's what. Okay, and we're going to be doing graphing linear equations today. And so I did, like I did last time, I'm going to sort of be copying and pasting. So we're going to move this stuff like this. So we have nice screen resolution over here. Oh, where's my whiteboard? 1 second. And there it is. And we're going to maximize this, clear the board. All right. So this is how it works. We throw up a picture from here. 6:15 is this today? It's going to be down here. All right. Boom. So question number 1. Put it up here. Let's begin. So it says a line is graphed in the XY plane shown at left. Okay, which of the following is an equation of the line? So the way we analyze this is twofold. So first of all, this relies on the fact that a line can sort of be determined based on this formula, y equals mx plus b. I made a song about this called Slope-Intercept. Check it out on my YouTube channel. And so anyways, actually it's on Facebook also. So the b value is your y-intercept. So whatever is over here has to equate to the y-intercept. Well, where is the y-intercept? The y-intercept is where this function hits the y-axis. And that's right there. And it hits it at +1. So that means the b value has to be +1. In D, it's -1. Goodbye. B, it's -1. So those two are gone. Because remember, a -1 same as a -1. Now let's look at A and C. So A and C are viable options. So now we've got a difference between +3/7, -3/7. Now I don't even have to figure out the slope precisely, because I can tell you when this goes up from left to right, like as we go from left to right, it's going up. We know it's a positive slope. Therefore, we can also eliminate C. But I can tell you it is a positive slope at 3/7 because look, it means 3/7 means we go up 1, 2, 3, and then over 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So it is a slope of 3/7 for sure, positive, but you don't need to do exactly everything. So let's go back and let's select 3/7 x plus. It says A, right? What did I choose here? Yeah, it's A. There's our answer. And boom. All righty, let's go on to question number 2. Let me select this. There we go. Let's clear this guy. Feels good to be doing this broadcast again. I was kind of sad I missed it yesterday. Just really wasn't feeling up to it in the morning. All right. Question number 2. So a line is graphed in the XY plane shown at the left. Which of the following is the equation of the line? It's the same process, right? Again, we have y equals mx plus b, and this b value is our y-intercept. So let's start off right there. Where is this guy hitting the y-axis? It's hitting it right here at 7. So we got to have a 7 as our y-intercept. But now they throw us a curveball. Look, it's not in it's not in slope-intercept form, most of these lines. So what does this mean? You know, how can we analyze this? Well, I can tell you that all 4 of these equations are only one step removed, right? Like all you have to do is move this piece, move essentially the mx piece over. you know, in some cases subtracting, some cases adding. So this value, even though it's all by itself, that's 7, it's the right sign. It is as it would be in y equals mx plus b form. So we already know that we can eliminate, once again, the negatives. This guy goes away. This guy goes away. Now the question is it 4/3? Is it this one, or is it A or B? Well, again, is this a positive or negative slope? From left to right, it's going up. So we know that this is a positive slope. But now don't get fooled, because you might be tempted to choose A because it's a positive 4/3. Now is where we got to convert it to y equals mx plus b. For A, it means we got to subtract 4/3 x from both sides to isolate y. Slope-intercept form, it's all about y being isolated. So in fact, this becomes negative 4/3 x plus 7. And for B, we'd add 4/3 x because we got to do the opposite of subtracting it. So y equals positive 4/3 x plus 7. And guess what? So now it's actually B that's positive. A goes away. Therefore, in this case, B would be our final answer. Whoops, wrong way. So we'll choose B here. All right. You see how the level of complexity just sort of slightly steps up as we go through each different level. Let's look at this guy now. Delete. And let's add this. All right. This should work. Boom. A line is graphed in the xy plane. Number 3 is at the left. Which of the following is the equation on the line? Basically the same deal, except now we got a little bit of a different scenario. Now they've added another complexity. Now they've thrown on this 2y over here and all this stuff. So how would I approach this? This one I'd approach it slightly differently. Like, I know that it takes an additional step of thinking. Like right off the bat, again, I would sort of say, hey, again, we got a y-intercept of 3, okay? And it looks like we're gonna have a negative slope. Well, all these y-intercepts, or all these constants out here that will eventually be the y-intercepts, yeah, they're 6 or negative 6. So that doesn't exactly make sense. But remember, we've got a 2y over here. The final y-intercept form, we have to have our y completely isolated, meaning with all these equations, we're going to eventually have to divide by 2. So that means that just like the same thing before, we know this is a positive 3. All of these 6s, they're eventually going to be divided by 2. Like we're going to divide all of these guys by 2 like this, right? So that means that negative 6 will become a negative 3. Positive 6 will become a positive 3. So we can follow the same rule as last time. Hey, if any of these are negative, we're not going to have a negative y-intercept. It's a positive 3. This one's gone. This one's gone. Now we're down to B and C. And actually, we can sort of do the same thing. It's still, again, this is going down. From left to right, it's going down. That means it's a negative slope. So let's go ahead. Let's first start to isolate this guy. We'd have to add 5x to both sides for this guy. So become 2y equals 5x plus 6. Now, before we even finish this equation where we divide by 2, which we'd have to do to get it into complete y-intercept form, slope-intercept form, we can already see that dividing by positive 2, the slope is still going to be positive. And we want a negative slope. This one's going to be gone, right? Even if we divide by 2, 5 halves, this becomes 6 over 2, which is 3. It's going to be a positive slope. It's not what we're looking for. This guy is going to be the one that's going to work, because we're going to subtract by 5x. And now we got 2y, right? This goes away. 2y equals negative 5x plus 6. It's going to give us, then once we divide by 2, now we got a negative slope, negative 5 over 2, and that works. Just to prove it, right? Negative 5 over 2 down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and over positive 2, 1, 2. That works. Therefore, C is our answer. Okay. We're going to go with C. Make sure we are right, that we haven't made any mistakes is correct. All right. 2 more to go. Two more to go. Clear this. A line is graphed in the xy plane shown at the left. Which of the following is an equation of the line? Same dealio. Oh, but now they're nice enough to give us this beautiful slope-intercept form. So we don't have to do nearly as much work as the other one. It's actually, I guess, surprisingly gotten easier as we've gone farther, which is weird. Normally doesn't happen, but let's take it. So that means, where's our y-intercept on this graph? Down here. That's a -4. We got a +4 here. Goodbye. +4 here. Goodbye. Let's go back to black here. So then B and D are gone. Now it's either A or C. Again, is this a negative or a positive slope? As we're going from left to right, it's going down. That means it's a negative slope. We can eliminate C because this is a negative slope. Do we care that it's actually 6/7? I mean, yeah, you do, but look how easily you can just knock out the bad answers and right away settle on A, because it's got to be negative, got to be a -4. That's the only one that works. So we saw that pretty quickly. So let's go ahead and choose A. Make sure we didn't make any mistakes. Yes, good job. Good job, team. All right, now let's do the last one here. Final practice problem. Get it up on the board. Boom. A line is graphed in the xy plane shown at the left. Which of the following is an equation of the line? Now, they've made it a lot more work. We got a lot more work. I'm going to, I mean, you can, at the end of the day, we can always turn all these into slope-intercept form, which I'm actually tempted to do here just to show you. I'm also going to show you some shortcuts. You can kind of see, all right, so first off, we have a y-intercept of -1. That means this constant, all of these rows here, this constant, by the time it gets to the right side, it's isolated. You want it to be a -1. The other thing we know is that the slope is just, it's a positive, and it's actually +1, right? You go up 1 over 1, up 1 over 1. So it's a +1. So whatever is multiplying that x has also got to be positive once everything is said and done. So the shortcut is, in this case, when we move the x over here, like in this equation here, well, first of all, we'd have to get this 1 over, we'd have to add 1 to both sides. Add 1 to both sides. And then we'd have to subtract x, right? I'm just doing basic variable isolation. This ends up becoming y equals -x, as we subtract the x, plus 1 when we move both of those two over. Now, look, you can kind of tell that this would happen, and we said the y-intercept is going to be a -1, not +1. We said the slope was going to be +1, not -1. This is actually a -1 here, even though there's nothing there, a -1. A is just way off, right? We can cross that off. What about this guy? Let's do it step by step. So again, you can see like, hey, we're going to be subtracting an x. So when that x moves over, it's going to be negative again. So if we did move it over, we'd have to subtract x from both sides, subtract 1 from both sides. We get y equals -x minus 1. So the y-intercept now is looking good, but the slope is off. Cross that off too. Now let's try C. So we'd subtract 1 from both sides, and we subtract x from both sides. This is gonna get a little tricky, and I'm gonna show you why in a second. So now now remember, this negative stays with the y, it sticks to the y. I always say that minuses are like kind of sticky. So we got a negative y equals, and then we got -x minus 1. Okay, so -x minus 1. But then we have to completely isolate the y by dividing by -1. Divide everything by -1 by -1. So then this becomes y equals +x plus 1. Well, now we finally got our positive slope, but this is a y-intercept of +1, so that doesn't work either, right? Almost closer. So it's obviously going to be D, since we've crossed off A, B, and C. But now look, now you can sort of like predict how this is going to work. You can tell that you're going to have to move this over. So the slope-intercept is going to be +1. The slope's going to be -1, but then you're going to have to divide by -1 at the end So everything's going to be flipped. That's going to be flipped the right way. But let's do it step by step. So first, we're going to subtract x from both sides. Add 1 to both sides. So we're going to be left with negative y equals negative x plus 1. Then we divide everything, or we could say multiply the whole thing by negative 1. That's a lot of times easier. So the y becomes positive, the x becomes positive, and the y-intercept becomes negative. Now we've got exactly what we were looking for. A slope of positive 1, right? There's always a little invisible 1 floating there. We got a slope of positive 1. We got a negative 1 for the y-intercept. Boom, it works. Let's make sure we didn't make any mistakes and check the work, and it is good. That's basically it. All right, let's go back to our live stream here. So we're going to stop the screen share, and I'm back. Okay, so hope that was helpful. Again, if you haven't checked out my music video called Slope Intercept, check it out on my YouTube channel. It's just a fun way to sort of learn these concepts if they're new to you. Hopefully memorize that formula. It's a fairly basic formula, but it also goes over some other details, and it's just fun. A lot of times you learn things in song, and it sticks a little bit more firmly in your brain. So that's it for today's rendition of these SAT Khan Academy problems. Again, I'm healthy, so I'm feeling good. We're going to be back to doing this every morning, and we'll hopefully get through all these SAT Khan Academy questions in the next month, so something like that is what I predict, maybe month and a half. And that's it. If you guys have any requests for problems that you want me to solve, you can always email me at huzaifa@scalarlearning.com. And if you haven't done so yet, definitely subscribe to my channel if you want everything up to date as far as SAT problems or other math related problems and concepts, tutorials, new math music videos, all good education content coming to you nonstop all the time. So yeah, definitely subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed it. That would help me out a great deal. Helps out the channel quite a bit as well. So thank you guys. Have a great morning, and we'll see you tomorrow.